6 o'clock will commence here. Okay, we've just gone on recording and on air. This is the Planning Commission meeting, the regular meeting of December 11th, 2024. Call the meeting to order at 6 o'clock p.m. And a roll call. Who is doing that tonight? I don't see Nicole.
Nicole is
Hi,
remote.
Chairman. I can do roll call for
Oh,
you.
fantastic.
Commissioner Cueva,
Present.
Commissioner Smith,
Here.
Commissioner Garai,
Present.
Vice Chair Southard,
Here.
and Chairman Cooley.
Here. And any requests for excused absences? I don't see anybody who's absent. So the next item is the Pledge of Allegiance, and we'll ask Commissioner Smith if he'll lead us on that.
Hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next item is adjustments to the agenda. Are there any adjustments that anyone's aware of?
No adjustments at this time.
And any conflict of interest to be disclosed? And I see nobody with that. Okay. So this meeting will be open to the public and conducted in a virtual format to be inclusive of all participation preferences. Public comment participation is encouraged by emailing any comments to the city clerk's office or by calling in using the phone number provided on the front of the agenda. Do we have any public comments on items not on the agenda?
I have no written requests. Mia, do we have any callers on the line?
No callers.
Okay, appears that there are not, so that moves us on to the action items and then the public hearing requests. We'll go to the approval of the minutes from the previous meeting. I'll ask for a motion unless somebody has a comment.
No, I'll move to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Cueva,
Yay.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Garai,
Yes.
Vice Chair Southard,
Yes.
Chairman Cooley.
Yes. Okay, so now we'll move down to item C2, consistency findings pursuant to a Government Code Section 65402 regarding the assessor's parcel number APN 404-140-007. And we'll start with the staff report, please.
Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. Carol Kendrick, Planning Staff. This item is regarding a property that the City of Beaumont has entered into a purchase agreement to acquire for a future police station. It's located at the southwest intersection of Beaumont and Cougar Way. The closing date is scheduled on or before February 5th, 2025, assuming that the city approves the due diligence investigations. Property is approximately 30 acres, and it is L-shaped parcel. It's vacant and unimproved, and again, we intend to construct a new public safety facility. We are required by the California Government Code, Section 65402, prior to the acquisition of any real property, that we find that the property is consistent with our general plan. The Planning Commission shall approve a resolution that will be forwarded on to City Council at a later meeting. The subject property is in the single-family residential land use designation of our general plan. In Chapter 3, our land use and community design of the general plan, it does identify allowed land uses such as schools, parks, and public facilities as permitted uses. This property is in the subject area known as the North Neighborhood in Figure 3.3 of the general plan. And the general plan includes following policies related to sufficient staffing and resources for public services, and expanding emergency response services caused by community growth. So this potential project would help us meet goal 9.1 in the general plan that states a city with a high standard of law enforcement services that has a focus on community-based crime prevention, and policies 9.1.1 to maintain sufficient levels of city law enforcement services and facilities to support existing residents and future growth, and coordinate with the Riverside County Sheriff in its efforts to provide adequate law enforcement services within the city sphere. It is also meeting policy 9.1.2 that strives to improve service delivery and efficiency of the Beaumont Police Department. In addition, this potential project, is consistent with the city's strategic plan that is expand the police department, which is target number 2, goal number 6, and more specifically, land acquisition for a new police station. In relation to CEQA, ownership changes do not propose any physical changes to the property. Therefore, there's no possibility for any kind of impacts. And the project is not subject to CEQA. Now, when we do come back with a capital improvement project to construct the new police station, that will, of course, be subject to CEQA. Planning Commission is required to render its report as to the conformity of the general plan within 40 days after the matter is submitted. And at this time, staff recommends that the Planning Commission find the proposed acquisition of the property is consistent with the city's general plan, and to waive the full reading and adopt by title only a resolution by the Planning Commission of the City of Beaumont determining that the acquisition of the property generally located at the southwest intersection of Beaumont Avenue and Cougar Way, Assessor's parcel number 404-140-007, for public purposes that conform with the Beaumont General Plan, and finding no further environmental review is necessary from the California Environmental Quality Act pursuant to Title 14 of the California Code of Regulations, Section 15061B3, the Common Sense exemption. This concludes my staff report. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any discussion from the commission?
I just, quick question. So obviously you haven't started design on a facility yet. Is it intended, you're thinking to front along Beaumont Avenue or along Cougar Way?
I believe it's going to be on Cougar Way,
Okay.
because it's
Yeah, it's a
L-shaped.
weird L, yeah.
So we don't have that corner piece, but we'll be looking at that. We've done a due diligence, biological due diligence, which we got on Tuesday. So that was favorable. And again, we're hoping to close escrow in very early February.
And would this be like a new headquarters and this would be supplemental, or would the facility across the street likely, I mean, like a substation, or that's so far out that it's not really decided yet?
Well, I think PD's going to relocate. I don't know what the future of that building's going to be.
All right. So it's still a ways out.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. That's all.
Any other commission comments, questions? It appears there are none. So are there any requests to speak from the public?
I have no written requests. Mia, do we have any callers on the line for this item?
No callers.
Okay, at this point in time, then I'll ask for a motion to waive the full reading and adopt by title only the resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of Beaumont determining that the acquisition of the proposed property generally located at the southwest intersection of Beaumont Avenue and Cougar Way for public purposes conforms with the Beaumont General Plan.
I will move to approve as recommended.
I will second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Cueva?
Yay.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Vice Chair Southard?
Yes.
Chairman Cooley?
Yes. Okay, this passes unanimously. And that will take us to item C3. Item C3, is Project Orchard Logistics, and we'll request a staff report, please.
Thank you, Chairman and Commissioners. Carol Kendrick, Planning Staff. I do want to highlight some housekeeping items on the staff report before I get into the presentation. So for the variance that's being considered, it's actually variance V2024-0116. And in the recommendation will also add in, after approve a one-year extension of time for the plot plan and variance, that was the parking variance for the project. Also, approval of a variance to extend the height of the light standards, which would be the V 2024-0116. Staff did receive a variance request on November 8th of 2024 for a variance for the light standard requirement for mounting light standards regarding requirement for mounting lights to a maximum of 30 feet to allow for adequate lighting and security throughout the site, and conduct a public hearing in consideration for a one-year extension of time for plot plan 2022-0440 and variance 2023-0120, which was the parking variance. This Orchard Logistics application was for the construction of approximately 600,000 square foot warehouse distribution building on approximately 31 acres of land in the manufacturing zone located at 745 Nicholas Road. Formerly, it was the Dowling Ranch. Again, the applicant is requesting a one-year extension. There are no changes to the CEQA document and the EIR that was prepared previously, except for adding the actual address. So at this time, based on the housekeeping items, I would recommend that the Planning Commission hold a public hearing and approve a one-year extension of time for plot plan 2024-0057 for the benefit of plot plan 2022-0440 and variance 2023-0132, and approve a variance to extend the light standard height to no more than 30 feet, and direct staff to prepare a notice of determination for the applicant to file with the Riverside County Clerk Recorder. This concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have, and the applicant is here as well.
Any questions, comments by the commission?
I have a question. I just want to make sure I'm understanding this correctly. You're looking for a new expiration date of March 27th, 2025?
It's actually 2026. So their current expiration date is March of 2025, so they're asking for an additional year. They are submitted into the city. They've been working on their grading permit, so it's 1 year. It's not a lot of time to try and get through the permitting process, but they are getting close. They just want to make sure that they have enough time to pull all their permits, and wanted to make sure that they had ample time to do that.
So do we have to change it on page 18?
So that indicates the dates that they were approved. So they had 1 year in order to vest the entitlement. And
Okay.
And so they had till March of 2025, and they're asking for 1 year, which would put their
On
expiration.
top of that?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So, these are the dates that they were approved.
Thank you.
Do they have any other extensions of time beyond that, or is that the first and only?
Our ordinance only allows one-year extension.
Or they're in plan check and moving through the process? Okay. The 30-foot light standard, is that typical that we're seeing in the other industrial developments over there as well?
Yes. So as part of our zoning code update, we are definitely looking at modifications to the light standard requirements. It's been problematic for most of our warehouse and industrial projects, and this commission has seen several variances for the light standards. So this is pretty typical, and we're looking at updating the code so that we can reduce these amount of variances.
And still compliant with dark skies?
Yes.
Any other commission comments? Are there any requests to speak?
I have no written requests. Mia, do we have any callers on the line?
No callers.
Okay, and I'm going to ask for a motion to approve.
Chairman, if I could, I'm sorry to interrupt, but because this is a public hearing, we will have to open and close the public hearing.
Okay, we need to open the public hearing. Anybody who wishes to speak? Okay, then, with nobody wishing to speak, I guess it's appropriate at this point in time to close the public hearing. Is that correct, Nicole?
Yes, sir, and I'll just
All
note the
right.
time.
So now I'm going to ask for a motion to approve a one-year extension of time for the plot plan 2022-0440 and the variance 2023-0132, and to direct staff to prepare a notice of determination for the applicant to file with the Riverside County Clerk Recorder. Do I have a motion?
I will motion to approve as recommended and as modified at the beginning of the presentation.
Thank you.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second, and we'll ask for a roll call now.
Commissioner Cueva?
Yay.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Garai?
Yes.
Vice Chair Southard?
Yes.
Chairman Cooley?
Yes. It appears that this passes, and that moves us on to the next agenda item. And that agenda item is C4, which is plot plan 2024-0032 and variance 2024-009 for the Beaumont Library located at 125 East 8th Street. And this is a request to expand and renovate the existing Beaumont Library, including a 9,114 square foot addition to the existing 10,991 square foot building, a parking variance for 60 parking stalls, the addition of landscaping and other site improvements within the site located at 125 East 8th Street, located in a residential single-family zone. I'm looking for a staff report, please.
Yes, Chairman and members of the Planning Commission, my name is Melody Adechiga, Planning Staff. So we did receive an application for a plot plan and variance. It was received on June 13th of 2024 and subsequently reviewed by the Development Review Committee. This public hearing was sent to the press enterprise, and then property owners within a 300-foot radius of the property were notified. At this time, we have not received any comments. So the applicant is requesting a 9,114 square foot addition, 60 parking stalls, and landscaping and other site improvements. The Beaumont Municipal Code does require a plot plan for these type of uses. The applicant is also asking for a variance due to some site constraints, which I will discuss further in the presentation. Pursuant to the Beaumont Municipal Code, the Planning Commission has the authority to approve, conditionally approve, or deny the application. So before jumping into the request, just a brief history on the library. It was established in 1911. The existing building was opened in 1914. An addition which doubled the square footage of the library was constructed in 1965, and then subsequently in 1981, a new community room was added. Lastly, they also underwent some renovations back in 2008. The site is located on the southeast corner of 8th Street and California Avenue and is comprised of 4 parcels, which is approximately 1.3 acres. The most northern 3 parcels contain the existing building and parking lot. The 4th parcel contains an existing single-family dwelling, which will be demolished to accommodate the expansion. Primary vehicle access at this time is through the alley entrance on 8th Street. There are a total of 37 parking stalls and an ADA stall that's adjacent to California Avenue. The surrounding project site, surrounding the project site are properties within the single-family residential zone. The area outlined in red is the proposed addition. The site was reconfigured to add an L-shaped parking lot with a total of 60 parking stalls, which will now have EV-capable stalls, as well as 4 ADA parking stalls. A new trash enclosure is being added per city standard to the east of the property. Vehicle access will now be provided on 3 points along 8th Street, California Avenue, and the alley to the east. New block walls are also proposed along the eastern property line as well as the southern property line to screen vehicle lighting glare from the neighboring properties. New lighting standards within the site will also be added, meeting the city's lighting requirements. The new addition will include a community room, expanded areas for families, new offices, and a break room, as well as a garage to house the library's new bookmobile. The renovation of the existing building will include a new entrance from the east side from the parking area, an updated circulation desk, office space, and private study rooms. The applicant is adding new landscaping in compliance with Chapter 17.06 of the Beaumont Municipal Code. This includes the addition of planters as well as trees to meet the 30% shading requirement. The applicant has also requested a parking variance due to the need to accommodate for these landscaping requirements, as well the need of the new addition. Our code does not specify a parking ratio for a library use. However, it does allow the community development director to determine which use most closely resembles the library use. A determination was made that 1 parking stall for every 200 to 250 parking square feet of floor area would be the ratio that would be applicable. As a result, this would require a total of 81 parking stalls. Due to the limited space on site, the applicant is requesting 60 parking stalls instead. The new addition will match the color and material of the existing building, including the architectural design. As shown on the elevations, the new addition will allow the same trim and building articulation as the existing library. The roll-up door to the east of the elevation, on the east elevation, will be painted to match the library as well. And the applicant has indicated that they will color match the paint to also refresh the existing library building. With this, planning staff recommends that the Planning Commission hold a public hearing, take public testimony, and approve plot plan 2024-0032 and variance 2024-009, subject to the attached conditions of approval, and direct staff to prepare a notice of exemption for the applicant to file with the Riverside County Clerk for a Class 1 existing facilities categorical exemption. This concludes my report, and I'm available for questions as well as the applicant.
Thank you. Is there any commission discussion? I have a question about the parking. That's substantially less parking. In my mind, I'm not seeing any available street parking. What is the parking situation?
Well, Public Works can speak to the off-site parking. There is available capacity in the street for curb adjacent parking. I'll let planning discuss the on-site parking.
Okay.
We do have a moratorium on parking in the downtown. So again, we have properties that just can't grow parking. And so.
And this is in that general area, correct?
In that general area, I know that we'd probably have to look at that further, but it's in that general area. And again, our parking code only has about 13 categories for us to choose from. So we did look at what parking counts are for other cities for libraries and tried to use that as a basis. But they are requesting, like I said, this parking variance, and it's typically what we see in these downtown areas.
Thank you.
The west access, the west door into the library, that's going to remain. So if somebody is parking on the street, they still will be able to enter the library from that access point.
Correct. It'll still have an entrance at that point, yeah.
Okay, thank you. So I'll open the public hearing at 6:25 PM. Are there any requests to speak?
Yes, sir. I do have an email to read, and I believe we also have a representative from the library on the line. But I'll go forward with the email first. This email is from Douglas Romero Ordonez. And it says, to whoever has proposed the expansion of the library and responsible parties, my name is Douglas Romero Ordonez and the property owner of 720 North California Avenue, which is located on the same block as the library and the only remaining occupied house. I've lived in this property since 2005. We have had tons of family gatherings in this house and have seen my niece and nephew born, created hundreds of memories, good and bad, and currently enjoy our home by spending time with family and friends. I am very concerned with what is being proposed and how it may affect my family. This is a residential area, and yet my thoughts are how the city can't find another piece of commercial land and build a new library up to your standards. Instead, I feel like this is being proposed at the expense of my family home. I would like for you to directly send me in writing to my address the answers to these questions. Have you considered the impact this will have to our family home, or have you only focused on the benefit the city to build or expand on the library? Why have you decided to expand on this block and not look to rebuild somewhere else? If this is a residential zone, like you have stated in your letter, you're looking to push a family out of their home for your satisfaction. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to your written response. And I believe we have a representative from the library on the line to answer any questions. If the commission likes, we can send that line through.
Please do.
Mia, can you go ahead and send the caller through, please?
I believe they're trying to reconnect.
We also have another speaker here. Maybe we want to let them go first while they figure out the.
And do we have another speaker?
Right here to the.
Yeah, so that we hear you and the recording is recorded properly.
Got it. Okay, my name is Philip Bedford. I am the in-laws of Douglas Romero Ordonez, and this directly affects us as well. That is, I mean, Douglas already said most of it, but this impacts their family. It is pushing them out of the house, and they've been getting an agent coming to their house every few years trying to purchase the property or whatnot, but they're not. I mean, it sounds more like they're just threatening to kick them out and demolish their house, which is not a good look. And they don't want to move. They love their house. It's created a lot of memories. So it's not just the house that you'd be demolishing, it's the memories. And sorry, I'm not used to doing stuff like this, but they would want to be either compensated for the house, the move that they would have to do. Like, I have the numbers, like they would be losing out a lot just because they want an expansion of the library. Their house would be turned into parking spaces.
Okay, clarify for me, are they renters or they own the home?
the house.
They own the home, and how is this property being acquired? Do the staff have that information?
The home that's being demolished is, is it,
720 North California.
no. No, there's two homes.
So we own
You-
730.
you-
I'm sorry.
You have to come
Yeah,
up.
so the home that,
I think there's some confusion. So the library already owns 730 North California, and that's the house that's going to be demolished. 720 sits right next to that, and we are not touching that property at all. We don't own it. It's not our right. There's actually we asked for a 6-foot wall instead of a 3-foot wall, so that they would have more privacy for their property.
Thank you.
The plans we saw look like that ours. I mean, we were told that they were told that it involves their house as well in the past. They've come to the door and told, we need to purchase your property so we can demolish it for parking. That's literally what they've been told.
Well, what's your address? One more time?
720.
720. What's the full address?
I mean, they showed it in the image too, the bottom house. They mentioned bottom house in the property.
Can we pull up that site again, please, so we can want to make sure that he leaves with a good answer here. Okay.
so the home that the library owns is there, so that doesn't capture the home that's just south of that property.
Yeah, let's look at the site plan.
That red square is covering their property. At least it looks that way.
Okay, so that red line is sort of an L shape, and so you're saying that it should be a rectangle instead of the L, staff, or?
So the site, this is the site plan. So if you see to the right of the screen, those structures there are from that neighboring property where that existing dwelling is. So it's not a part of this project.
I have an image that we were given.
If we
too.
have, if we can go to, what is that, Phil, you said C4G?
I don't think that map covers that home,
Oh,
though. I think
I
it's cut
see.
off on the display, yeah.
If you can go back to the first image that shows the plots,
Okay, can
that
you?
one,
Okay, that one.
that their property is in that bottom square. There's a glare.
That's the property next to the parking lot.
Okay, well, I have an image here that we were given for the plans, and it looks different than what you guys are showing. Unless that's a different ordinance or a different variation that hasn't been discussed.
Okay, so for clarification, and I'm asking staff and the library representative, for clarity, the home that this gentleman is talking about is not being considered as part of this. The library does not own it.
It's not owned by the library.
Okay, and it's not part of the project. Does that clear that up for, is that clear to you that
Well-
as far as acquiring and destroying or removing your home, that's not being proposed?
Yeah, we were given that, and that's their house. So what is that?
This was a plan from 2014
Okay, so it's been
that
changed.
was under consideration when they were trying to buy the property, and they never wanted to sell, and so we had to downsize the plan.
Okay.
That's what happened.
Okay.
That probably leads to the parking variance then.
Yes.
Right, so we have the on-street parking.
Okay.
Okay, so to be clear, the 720 property is not being touched.
Correct. And I'm sorry for that confusion, and I can see where that happened, and thank you for showing up, because your being here, and you can go back and have
And there will be a privacy wall.
you can have a much merrier Christmas knowing that you're secure and you're not
There's a home
having
to go to, yeah.
Chairman,
Yes.
if I might, I would like to make a point of clarification as well. This is not a city library. This is not a city application. This is a different organization that submitted an application to the city that we are processing. So this is not under any control of the city or is not a city project.
Thank you. That needed to be made clear. Did you find the caller online?
Yes, we have the caller on the line. Mia, can you go ahead and send it through?
I'm seeing a thumbs up. Is the caller, are you on the line?
Caller, can you hear us?
Yes.
Go right ahead. You're on with Planning Commission.
Hello, my name is Pedro. I'm the architect on the project, and I'm available for any questions that you may need or have.
Any of the commissioners have any comments, questions? Okay, and the staff? It appears that the issue that was brought up has been resolved, and we thank you for your time. Any other
My
requests?
pleasure.
Any other requests to speak? Okay. And I'll
We have
close.
no other requests.
I'm sorry?
No other requests.
Okay, then I will close the public hearing at 6:36 PM. And I'll ask for a motion to approve plot plan PP 2024-0032 and variance 2024-009, subject to the attached conditions of approval, and direct staff to prepare a notice of exemption for the applicant to file with the Riverside County Clerk. Do I have a motion?
I have a quick question before we do that there, Chair. Sir, and I should have asked that before. Is there, when you thought about the parking pieces there, is there any bus stop there now? There's one there? Okay, good.
Yes,
I'm
there
thinking about to make sure we can accommodate for folks who don't have a vehicle and don't want to use the parking spots. Oh, good. Appreciate that.
This project did go through the Development Review Committee, which our transit department is
Will
part
review.
of, and so they have reviewed this project and made comments that have been accommodated.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Any other commission comments, questions?
There's no impact to the old Carnegie building. That's the historical building, other than a fresh coat of paint and, okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so we have a motion and we have a second.
I don't think we've had the motion yet.
Oh, I asked for a motion, I'm sorry. Do we have a motion?
I'll move to approve.
I second.
Okay, now we have a motion and a second. And does this require a roll call vote, Nicole?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Commissioner Cueva?
Yay.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Garai?
Yes.
Vice Chair Southard?
Yes.
Chairman Cooley?
yes. Okay, thank you for the participants that came here. It's very helpful when we have questions, if we can get them out and discuss them, and we can see that this wasn't an issue, except that there was some confusion, and we've got it cleared up, and I think everybody's happy now. Okay. I'm sorry, didn't hear that?
Can I just get like an image, those images, so I can share it with them? Yeah, thank you.
All right. That moves us down to the next item on the agenda, which is C5, which is a conditional use permit, 2024-005 for the Beaumont Dance Studio located at 709 Beaumont Avenue, APN 418-071-007, which is a request to operate a dance studio within the 1,350 square foot suite of an existing multiple tenant building located at 709 Beaumont Avenue in the downtown mixed use report. And I believe we have a staff report, please.
Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. Jillian Fountain, Planning Staff. An application for a CUP for a Beaumont Dance Studio was submitted to the city on June 25th, 2024. We went to Development Review Committee on July 11th, 2024. A public notice was placed in the Press Enterprise, and property owners within 300 feet were notified of this public hearing. Staff has not received any comments regarding this application. The municipal code allows for commercial dance studios subject to the approval of a conditional use permit. The property is zoned downtown mixed use and has a general plan land use designation of downtown mixed use. The surrounding properties have the similar zoning and land use designation aside from the single-family residential to the west. The site is located within the downtown mixed-use zone, and this site is currently developed with the current empty unit. The unit had previously had a proposed boba shop application where the applicant had unpermitted work completed. This delayed the Beaumont Dance Studio application as the unpermitted work needed to be taken care of prior to public hearing. That has been completed. The proposed hours of operation are 7 days a week between 10 a.m. and 8 p.m., Monday through Saturday, and 10 a.m. through 5 p.m. on Sundays. The project is exempt from CEQA as it qualifies for a Class 1 existing facilities categorical exemption. The required CUP findings can be adequately met and are included in the staff report. At this time, staff recommends that Planning Commission hold a public hearing, approve CUP 2024-0005, subject to the proposed condition of approval, and direct staff to prepare a notice of exemption for the applicant to record with the county clerk. This concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions, and the applicant is also here as well.
Any commission discussion?
No, so the code cases are cleared. Okay.
Okay. I'll open the public hearing at 6:42. Are there any requests to speak?
I have no written request. Mia, do we have any callers on the line?
No callers.
All right, then we'll close the public hearing at 6:42. Looking for a motion to approve the conditional use permit 2024-005.
Before, actually, I do have a question as I was looking through this. Knowing the dance studio across the street and some of the concerns with parking, they're renting the space out of this facility, correct? So the property owner, there's not concern from the property owner's perspective on parking and impacts of potential other businesses?
Well, because this is in the downtown, we have
Right, we don't have the parking, I know.
Yeah.
So, it's not something there, but I know that it's come up with other multi-tenant type facilities. Just want to make sure that, at least mentioned it.
Yeah.
And then that raises a question to my mind as well. Is there do we know how many students they'll have at any given time? I'm concerned about parents lining up in the street to pick up their children.
We can have the applicant speak to
Yes,
that.
I see the applicants walking up. There's a button there on the base of the microphone.
Good evening. Thank you for taking consideration. This dance studio, the lessons are basically private, so it will be one-on-one basis. And the lessons are only 45 minutes long. I have an existing studio in Palm Springs, so basically shouldn't be any problems in there. Any other concerns you have, you may ask me, but basically that's what's based on.
So this is the type of place if I need to learn a dance for a child's wedding or something like that in the future, I could come to you and you would help me with my two left feet.
Yeah, it's a studio basic for adults. We learn ballroom dancing, social dancing, and I thought we kind of bring some joy to Beaumont. Not that you don't have any, but we share the joy of dance. So
Okay, that clears up a lot of questions that I think were in mine and Commissioners Smith's
one of the
mind.
reasons why we decided to open is because I have a lot of clients who come from Beaumont there, in Palm Springs. Some even drive from Hemet. So I thought we'd be halfway for all of them. So we'd be happy to join and be part of your city. I think we'll be very successful. So
Good. All right, thank you. Yes.
The only thing I'm going to add is that by opening here, as I say here mentions that many students are going to Palm Springs, but it's not only that. Other studios are closing down, were severely affected because of COVID. They have not been able to open up, and they're very small. I mean, they have closed down. I say here has been very successful. As far as I know, he's been in Palm Springs for over 30 years. Bringing a dance studio here, like he said, will bring joy for everybody, for those who want to learn. But it's going to also allow other cities that are a little bit further out, north and west, to come out in this direction. So that's all I just wanted to add. Yeah.
Thank you for that clarification. Again, thank you for showing up. It allows us a little two-way communication, and we can understand things a little bit better when that happens. So now I think we're ready to request a motion to approve the conditional use permit, subject to the attached conditions of approval, and direct staff to prepare a notice of exemption for the applicant to file with the Riverside County Clerk Recorder.
I move as read.
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Now we can do a roll call vote.
Commissioner Cueva?
Yay.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Vice Chair Southard?
Yes.
Chairman Cooley?
Yes. That moves us on to the
Good luck.
next. That moves us on to the next item, which is C6, which is a conditional use permit 20-24-006 for oak tree engraving and monuments located at 506 Wellwood Avenue. A request to allow an engraving and monument manufacturing retail shop located at 506 Wellwood Avenue in the commercial neighborhood zone. And we have a staff report, correct?
Yes, good evening, Melody Arechiga, planning staff. So as noted, the applicant is requesting a conditional use permit. They submitted the application on October 9th of 2024 and was reviewed by the Development Review Committee in October and November. A public hearing notice was sent to the press enterprise along with a mailing to the property owners within a 300-foot radius of the property. At this time, no comments have been received. So as noted, they are proposing to establish an engraving and monument manufacturing retail shop within the commercial neighborhood zone district. Due to the sandblasting operations of the property, this is a conditionally permitted use within the zoning district. As a result, a conditional use permit is required pursuant to section 17.02.100 of the municipal code. Pursuant to the municipal code, the Planning Commission has the authority to approve, conditionally approve, or deny the conditional use permit. So just a brief history on this site and proposed use. They did submit previously for a conditional use permit, which went before the Planning Commission on September 14th, of 2021. However, it was continued at that time due to an outstanding property owner authorization, then continued off calendar on January 11th of 2022. The applicant has now taken ownership of the property and resubmitted a new CUP application. The project site is located on the corner of Wellwood Avenue and 5th Street. There is currently an existing building and existing improvements, including curb, gutter, sidewalk, and existing landscaping. The applicant is not proposing any expansion nor modification of the building. Surrounding the property include an auto repair shop, a single-family dwelling, and an alarm service business, all within the commercial neighborhood zoning district as well. So within the site, there is a 1,973 square foot building, a 1,075 square foot covered area, as well as a fenced storage. A total of 4 parking stalls are provided on site pursuant to the parking requirements for a manufacturing use. This use would require 1 parking stall for every 500 square feet of floor area. Thus, it only requires 4 parking stalls. The on-site parking can be accessed through the alley to the southeast of the property, and the main customer entrance is located near the corner of Wellwood Avenue and 5th Street. So within the building, there's a lobby and showroom area as well as office space and restrooms, a shop, and a covered work area. The operation includes a total of 4 employees. In the showroom, there are exhibits of different styles and materials of headstones as well as a brochure of different engraving lettering. Prospective clients can choose the material and the specific engraving. Then the engraver will perform the engraving and final material will be shipped or picked up by the customer. With this, planning staff recommends that the Planning Commission open the public hearing, take public testimony, approve conditional use permit 2024-006, subject to the attached conditions of approval, direct staff to prepare a notice of exemption for the applicant to file with the Riverside County Clerk Recorder for a Class 1 existing facilities categorical exemption. This concludes my report, and I'm available for any questions as well as the applicant.
Any questions or comments by the commission?
I have a question for the applicant. When we get to public hearing.
Okay. Hold on just a moment. You might as well have a chair there and we'll talk with the commission.
I have a quick question for the staff here. I see that there's an air compressor on that section there. Is that going to be running, the operation going to be running 24 hours a day or just the 8 hours during the day?
They're only operating Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30, I believe.
Okay, so it meets the noise requirement piece there. 'Cause compressors are pretty loud, so I'm thinking sandblasting, that's kind of going. So no neighbors have brought up any concerns or anything like that about the noise?
We haven't received any comments regarding the project.
What was the previous use of in this facility?
I believe it's long been
It's been the same.
Yeah.
It's been the same type of use.
Okay.
And the previous use, has that been up until current? Has it been used rather recently? I guess my concern is, has it been vacant for a while or not utilized? Has that compressor been running for that residence area that's adjacent?
Well, that was my question for the applicant, so.
Okay.
I'll defer to the applicant on
Okay.
the operation.
And then for clarification, if the staff knows, if not, we'll go to the applicant. Are they cutting the monuments there or just engraving and polishing?
I'll defer to the applicant as
Okay.
well.
Any other commission questions? All right. So then we'll open the public hearing at 6:53 PM. And I'm assuming we have an applicant who wishes to speak, particularly after we've asked all these questions.
Please.
Right ahead, please.
Got it. I had purchased the business off someone that I had known in this town. The owner was actually my oldest daughter, softball coach 30 years ago. It's always been a monument company that was started in this town. We're not cutting the granite or mining it or doing anything there. It's all shipped into us, which we bring it in ourselves. There's no semis coming in or out, and we just do engraving. That's all we do.
Okay. And that's been the use for the last 30 years as well?
It's been there for 50 years. When I bought it, I don't think the building had been inspected in 50 years. Because the first CUP go around, we had the fire department, everyone come through. We're not sandblasting on site. That got taken away from us due to the holdup of the CUP. The compressor, yes, it's old. It's 50 years old. Once we get this, we plan on modernizing the whole thing, keeping the nose down. Joe's right there around the corner. You can't hear his compressor, so I'll make sure that I accommodate the neighboring people.
Since you brought up the sandblasting, are you looking in the future to reacquire that ability to do sandblasting?
Yes, yes. But, yeah, to get a sandblasting booth,
Yes.
yes, I would like to.
And this CUP, does that permit for that future use? Or would that be a separate application we have to come back to the city for?
So, so the CUP is to allow also the sandblasting,
Okay.
which is the reasoning why they came before the planning commission.
Okay. So it's just a matter of acquisition and
Yes,
able to move forward
yes,
with
that, and it will be, sandblasting now, you're watched. You know, it's gonna be top of the line, safety for the person doing it,
it's in a closed booth now, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, you know, my son would actually be the sandblaster, so
Okay.
I'm not gonna put my son in any harm's way for breathing or anything like that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Apparently, there are no other questions from the commission. Do we have any other speakers? Any requests to speak?
I have no written requests. Mia, do we have any callers on the line?
No callers.
Okay, then I'll close the public hearing at 6:56 PM. And I'll ask for a motion.
Chairman, before we make the
Yes.
motion, we'd like to amend the conditions of approval if we can also include the hours of operation as well.
Okay,
That's okay with the applicant? Has previously checked with them?
okay. So that's Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 4:30. All right.
All right.
Okay, so then, now I'm asking for a motion to approve the conditional use permit 2024-0006, subject to the attached conditions of approval, which will also include the hours of operations being Monday through Friday, 8 to 3:30. And if we close early on Friday, I don't think we need to go to that detail. Do I have a motion?
I'll move to approve.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. We're ready for a roll call.
Commissioner Cueva?
Yay.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Vice Chair Southard?
Yes.
Chairman Cooley?
Yes.
Good luck.
All right. Thank you for your attendance and good luck. And good luck to everybody who was here with new businesses and the library. And we'll go from there. We have a time slotted for the planning manager comments.
Yes, sir. Thank you. First, I'd like to introduce our new intern that started today.
Yay.
Mr. Luke Fannin.
Persistence.
He may look familiar to you. I'll let Luke come up and just tell you a little bit about himself.
Hi, so my name is Luke. Today was my first day today. Really fun experience. Everyone's really nice, and I don't have too much to say.
You want to talk about your schooling and kind of...
Yeah, so I am majoring in urban planning, so perfect fit for the planning department. I am minoring in sustainability and getting a certificate in GIS, so pretty well fit for the job.
I'm very glad to hear that the internship opportunity was available. Yeah, that's always good.
Luke was very persistent. So
That's amazing.
And the tenacity is good there too.
Yes, I regular emails in my email box, and we did work out where he'll be getting school credits for his.
Oh, that's school
his
credits too. That's
participation.
amazing.
So, yeah.
Great
And if you're
job, girl.
persistent,
That's
you will or have learned that to open the door, you have to push in before you pull out. I'm sure those who use it every day are familiar with that, but those of us who are occasional, it's a little confusing.
Because I'm not located down there, I have trouble getting in now. I've lost the touch.
You definitely have a good group to learn from, so
Yeah.
soak it all in.
Diversity.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Glad to have you. Okay.
I still have, so just what's coming up on deck, so we don't have any more meetings for the rest of this year, so Sorry, I turned it off. On January 8th, we are looking at bringing a minor plot plan ordinance amendment. So we did take forward, when I get into my city council updates, we did bring an item forward to the city council based on a recommendation from a council member. And so based on discussions with our zoning code update consultant, they had identified that our administrative plot plan, our minor plot plan were very similar. So we are going to be removing one of those. So that will be coming forward to the Planning Commission on January 8th. And the second meeting in January, we're looking at bringing the annual DA reviews, which is our development agreements. So Ms. Jensen has been working on that. We may be a little behind, kind of getting caught up based on the changes that have happened. And then we do have several other projects coming forward this week. We anticipate the submittal of our Regency project, and we'll hopefully be able to start disclosing those tenants that have been identified. So I think it'll be wildly popular with our community, some national retailers. And I will go into, we haven't met since early October, so I did print all the agendas. There was nothing of note for the city council on the October 15th meeting, but on November 5th, we did take forward, there was a discussion about the adjustments to the development impact fees. And so the direction from the city council was to start the revised impact fees at year 2 to start. We move up to the year 3 calculation after 6 months, and 6 months after that, move up to year 4, which is our total. So that was approved. Then on November 19th, again, we had a presentation from Debbie Cog on the VMT. It was a very good presentation by Chris Gray. So if you're interested in learning more about VMT, you know, it's a good presentation. So and Chris does a good job. But as I prefaced, we did bring forward a planning project and building tracking. So some of the things that we're going to do, we're trying to reduce times, make the process more efficient and more transparent. So I don't know if the Planning Commission's aware, but in October, we started instituting applicant invitations to our Development Review Committee meetings. So we used to have them in our conference room. We now have them in room 4, and we invite applicants. It's been very, very successful, very well received by the development community. So we will continue doing that. We're definitely getting a lot more participation from our city colleagues and getting comments turned around quicker. So it has been a lot more effective. We are putting a public-facing project tracking onto our website. So right now you can track building permits, but you have to be named as an applicant or someone on that permit. So planning, we're instituting that, and we're going to be looking at ways where, you know, there could be just general information just on the status where you don't have to be an applicant. So we're looking at improving those efficiencies. We are, like I said, we're going to bringing forward an ordinance amendment to remove one of our administrative plot plan. So the thought process is that a lot of our businesses, they go through the administrative plot plan process with planning, and then they move on to building for either a C of O or a tenant improvement. And planning also is involved then as well to make sure that they're complying. So we're combining the process. So we're just trying to make it easier and, again, more transparent for the building department. They have one of their how-to videos, which is, I think, how to apply for a building permit. They have another video that's going to be coming up. And so we're working on flow charts. We're working on videos on how to navigate through the process. And so I'm open to any suggestions, but you might be seeing some changes come through. And again, that's trying to just be more business friendly and really help spur development.
I'm interested to hear how that goes. legitimately interested.
I do have one question based on that. When you extend that, I'm assuming you're extending that to commercial builders, that meeting, that opportunity to meet and kind of go over that process. Are we getting an increase in ADU applications? And if so, are we extending that to individual homeowners too?
So we do have a residential administrative plot plan process that the ADU applications go through first before they submit to building. And so again, we'll be reviewing that as part of the building permit process. So again, it's removing one step. The concerns that we have with the ADUs is there's we don't require a title report. It's not required. A lot of times the owners find out about easements later in the process, or they can't get the fire flow that they need in order to complete the process. So we're trying to look at these common issues that come up and kind of doing frequently asked questions. And have you, looked at the easements on your property? Have you contacted the water district and done a fire flow test? So trying to get these issues in front of property owners and their contractors ahead of time, because we're seeing this now at the 11th hour, and it's kind of devastating for a property owner when, they've gotten so far. But we're trying to identify these issues and educate, and so it's
tricky because the state also wants to get to a point where you can just walk in and say, I want an ADU and here's my approved plan, and just say, okay.
Is there any consideration to put out some of that information or those common problems they found as just an informational piece? I know we're getting inundated with, you can buy this ADU off Amazon, they'll drop it in on a helicopter, and it's all set to go. Are we seeing enough interest that it may have some value to say, here are the ADU issues that typically come up?
Well, that's what we're working on. So Sarah Rettmeyer, our chief building official, is also working on some ADU documents to put on the website to further educate our residents. And then if you were looking at the December 3rd City Council, we did have an item on there for a minor plot plan for track 32850, the Manzanita project. That was withdrawn by the applicant, so we did not take that forward. So, but we'll be paying close attention to that.
Minor plat, was that for models? Or?
It's for the architecture. So if you remember that one, we had some changes to the track map conditions of approval, and it did have a requirement that it goes back to City Council for the architectural review. But this was the first test project with our new objective design standards. So there was a lot of concerns with that, and so a lot of discussions on how to navigate that. And then for City Council coming up, we have next week we'll have the Highland Springs billboard sign. So they're going to relocate and redo that sign. So right now is it still Shell, or is it another? No. Yeah, the gas station. Yeah. So they're going to relocate the sign further west in between their location and the grocery store. And then they're going to have an updated model. So that's going to go to City Council on Tuesday. We also have an auto for hire for an ambulance. So it's just required per the code. So we'll have that. And then we'll be providing an update to the City Council regarding our plus policy, the plus policy and AB 98. So Senior Planner Archega has been working on that comparison and kind of doing a deep dive. So we're going to be presenting that to the City Council on the 17th. And then I believe that they will be selecting members for the commissions and committees at that time. So we'll definitely report back to you on that. And let's see. we just had just a couple more things. I did want to mention that we had both assistant planners and our management analyst attend the CalEd, which is the California Association of Local Economic Developers Keys course, which is an introduction to economic development, and it's a 4-day course at Cal State Fresno. It's pretty intensive. I can let Katie did the online, but it was live, and so maybe if you want to give some insights or any some of the courses you took, and then we can let Jillian kind of touch.
Didn't really have anything
I know.
prepared. I didn't know.
Surprise!
Sorry, it was a while ago. Yeah, we took a few courses. It was about a week long. They had a lot of really good presenters there.
It's like a pop quiz right here.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
boy.
I didn't,
I'm
sorry. I
sorry.
would've prepared
Sorry.
something.
There was a quiz at the end. It was really great being there in person, and I think even Katie can attest to being online. Like it's a small class, but you meet so many people that are doing the same things as you. And as a planner, they're all economic developers, so we're trying to like bridge that gap. So it was really nice to be able to meet people and make connections outside of that unit that we can reach out to now in our growth.
But they do like to pick on planners. So I finished the advanced in August, and so I'll be sending our planners back to complete the advanced next year. And Ms. Arachiga will be going. She'll be starting the beginning course, but it is a certification, so we're very pro training, and so I did get a lot of feedback that the course was very beneficial. And then the management analyst and I attended the Municipal Management Association of Southern California annual conference last month. And so there was a lot of good, oh, yes, I saw Vice Chair Southard there. So
I was there too.
yes, so it was a,
Different capacity, but
yeah,
it was a good conference.
yeah, it was a good conference. And so we're always looking at that. And so we did have some changes as well to community development, just to let you know. We had a economic development manager for about 6 weeks, Joel, who did a great job. Got us kind of pointed in the right direction and got a couple incentive programs off and running. But he unfortunately took a director position at a location closer to his home. So, but the council did approve a economic development director in addition to the economic development manager. And so economic development will now be moving out of, has been moved out of community development and will be reporting directly to the city manager. So our management analyst will be going there as soon as we start getting these positions filled. So we lost economic development, but planning's still going to be extremely involved in that. I talked with the city manager. We're still going to continue our CalEd training and learning economic development because it does go hand in hand. So that's all I have.
I have another question. Okay, and this is regarding C4, the library.
Mm-hmm.
In my past days when I did development, I remember I had to get a grading letter as part of that process. And I'm trying to understand why this property owner thought his house was going to be part of this project when it never seemed to be. And I would think a grading letter saying, hey, we're going to be grading adjacent to your property, I need your sign off on this, would have cleared that up from the get-go. Do we not require that, or is it later in the process?
Yeah, we do require that specifically for that wall because they will be working within their neighbor's yard, whether they want to recognize that or not. But that does happen at the final engineering phase after entitlement. Yeah, it appears to be just a mistake from 2014, but they're not constructing anything at this time, and they're not required. They have no obligation to get a letter at this time because they don't need that property. Technically, they're building within property that they own. The footing will be constructed on the ideally. I'm not in control of that, but we're going to approve it like they're going to build it on their own property.
I was just curious why.
I'm glad he did. I'm glad he did. Okay, I have one final comment. Commissioner Gar, am I collecting? Is leaving. This is going
I'm
to
gonna
be
make
his
everybody
last
say it
meeting,
today,
correct?
just-
So we want to
Yeah.
thank you for all the time you've
Yeah.
put into this commission and wish you success in wherever you go from here.
I appreciate that, and thank you, everyone. It was a nice opportunity to do my civic duty and contribute to the development of the city of Beaumont, and I'm really happy about that. And just to meet all of you guys, I really do appreciate the time, not just to educate me, but to work collaboratively to really make a difference. So I do appreciate that. So, and I will be here regularly. So we'll see you guys soon.
Yeah. On behalf of the Community Development Department, we want to thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Guess that concludes this meeting. We'll close the meeting at 7:17 p.m. and our next meeting is scheduled to be on January 8th, same place, same time. Thank you for your attendance.